Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, we're on the record, Candace?
Yes, sir.
Great. Good morning. This is the Kentucky Public Service Commission. My name is Kent Chandler. I'm chairman of the Public Service Commission, and I will be presiding today. Joining me today is Vice Chair Amy Cubbage. Today's hearings are for the purpose of hearing evidence in cases where the Investigation Division of the Public Service Commission has issued civil penalty assessments against individuals and business entities alleging violations of the Kentucky Underground Facility Damage Prevention Act. The Public Service Commission has been authorized by KRS 367-4917 sub 6 to enforce and assess civil penalties provided for in the Act and to seek injunctive relief for any violation that results in damage to an underground facility used to transport gas or hazardous liquid subject to the federal pipeline safety laws, 49 USC section 60101 et sec. This morning, we're here for the purpose of holding hearings in the following cases. Case numbers 2021-00159, 2021-00162, 2021-00202, case number 2021-00253, 2020-00256, 2021-00256, 2021-00258, 2021-00260, 2021-00080, 2021-00083, 2021-00084, 2021-00268, 2021-00269, and 2021-00270. Before we call the cases and request for counsel and the parties to identify themselves, I'd like to take just a minute to discuss the fact that this hearing is being held remotely and virtually, and discuss for just a second our requests. We will call each case individually until your case is called. We request that you stay on mute, even if your case is being called, unless you're speaking or need to interject for counsel's purposes. We also ask that you continue to leave your video on mute and audio on mute. If you're speaking, we request, if you're able, to turn on your video, and of course we will require, should you swear in witnesses, that the witnesses be on video while they're providing testimony. The first case we'll call this morning, excuse me, whatever we want. The first case we'll call this morning is case number 2021-00159, Becknell Kogel, and it's incident number 32249. Is the party or counsel on behalf of the party in attendance today?
Yes, Don Nageleisen is here on behalf of Mr. Coghill, who's situated to my right.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Nageleisen, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. If you have me, bear with me 1 minute. All right, Mr. Nageleisen, I have that the opening order in this case, the alleged violation is of the following provision of the Underground Damage Prevention Act, KRS 367.4911 sub 6. Quote, "The excavator shall protect and preserve temporary underground facility markers until the scheduled excavation or demolition is completed," with the assertion in the opening order that, quote, "Based on its review of the incident report and being otherwise sufficiently advised, the commission finds prima facie evidence that Becknell Kogel violated the Underground Damage Prevention Act. The commission further finds that a formal investigation into the excavation damage incident should be concluded." Mr. Nageleisen, it's my understanding that you filed an initial response in that case. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you've been provided, you and your client have been provided notice of this hearing. Is that correct as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay, appropriate notice. All right, and now that we understand the charges, I'd ask for the appearance of counsel on behalf of the Kentucky Public Service Commission's Division of Investigations.
Good morning, John Park, representing the Kentucky Public Service Commission Division of Inspections. With me today is Jessica Norris Canfield.
Okay, and Mr. Park, is the Division of Inspections ready to proceed with the case
Yes, we
today?
are. Yes,
Okay, and Mr. Nageleisen, the same for you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Mr. Park, as the party with the burden of proof, would you like to please present your case?
Yes, Division of Inspections calls Eric Tout.
All right, Mr. Tout, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is true and correct under penalty of perjury?
Yes.
Okay. Please state your name and address for the record.
Eric Tout, 570 Fawns Lane, Mount Sterling, Kentucky.
Okay. Mr. Park, you may ask.
Mr. Tout, what is your current occupation?
I'm an investigator with the Kentucky Public Service Commission
And as an investigator, what are your job duties?
to look into underground damages that are reported to the Public Service Commission from the gas companies or utility companies involving gas.
As an inspector for the Division of Inspections, did you investigate an incident of excavation damage to an underground gas pipeline that occurred on October 28, 2019 at 2119 Highwater Road in Villa Hills, Kentucky?
Yes.
Was this incident assigned an incident number for purposes of your investigation?
Yes.
And what was that?
32249.
And I'm going to have Ms. Rhodes display your investigation report. Ms. Rhodes, if you could please display that for us. And if you could expand that, if you can, and scroll through it so the witness can refresh himself.
And before you continue, Mr. Park, I just want to make sure, Mr. Nageleisen, can you see the document that's being presented?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please proceed, Mr. Park.
And once you've had a chance to review that, would you please identify this document? Is this a true and accurate copy of your investigation report, Mr. Tout?
Yes.
This report has previously been filed in the record in this case, and I move to introduce this report as Division of Inspections Exhibit 1.
Is this currently provided as an attachment to the opening order in this case?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Mr. Nageleisen, do you have any objection to the introduction of this exhibit?
No, sir.
Okay. I'll have it marked as staff exhibit number 1.
Mr. Tout, could you please describe incident number 32249 and your investigation of the incident?
Yes. We received a report from Duke Energy that a underground gas line was damaged at 2119 Highwater Road in Villa Hills, Kentucky. The report we received stated the excavator damaged a correctly marked gas service with a backhoe installing a water meter.
And please describe the findings that you reached after your investigation of this incident.
After pulling documents from Duke, it was determined that the excavator failed to maintain the marks. There were marks in the video, or in the photographs that were provided, but they were faint and difficult to see. Yeah. Therefore, it was determined that failure to maintain marks was cited.
Did the photographs you obtained as part of your investigation confirm both that there were temporary markings pre-dig as well as indication of a faint marking after the damage had occurred?
Yes,
And in the event temporary markings become covered up or are otherwise degraded, is it a requirement for the excavator to request a remark?
yes. Also would note that that there was a gas shut-off or whatever at the level with the ground in close proximity of where the damage occurred, which would indicate that the gas services was present in the area.
At the time of the excavation damage, did the pipeline contain natural gas?
Yes,
Based on the results of your investigation, was a demand letter issued?
yes it was.
And do you know if there was a response to that?
A response actually to the demand letter, no. The demand letter required penalty payment of $250 and attendance to damage prevention course. And to the best of my knowledge, neither one of those requirements have been met.
I have no further questions.
Would you like to move? You've already marked a move to introduce. Thank you. Mr. Naglausen, do you have any questions for the witness?
Yes, sir.
Please proceed.
Yes, sir. Mr. Tout, so the documentation you're provided was provided by Duke, is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
And the photographs that were taken, who would have taken those?
PRG,
What does that mean, PRG?
Project Resource Group.
And is that someone that Duke hires to look into these types of things?
That's correct.
Okay, so basically, you have the job of relying upon what is provided to you, is that fair?
That is correct.
Now, have you ever been to the scene?
No, I have not.
And that's probably not typically done, is it? Probably due to the number of complaints you have to deal with?
You are correct.
Okay. Now, if there were marks and they had vanished or were unrecognizable, is there any other duties upon Duke or the people that mark these lines to come out and restore them?
The only duty or requirement by statute is for the excavator to keep the marks refreshed. It's not the Duke or the utility company's responsibility.
Okay, and if the utility company marks the lines, is there a time period from which they're supposed to mark them prior to the digging? Is there a requirement?
Yes, 2 days.
So they should be marked within 2 days of the digging, is that correct?
It should be marked within 2 days of the locate request.
I see. And is that typically done within, say, a week's time, is that correct?
It has to be done within 2 days. I don't know
Okay.
typically what it's done, but I know what the statute states.
Now, if there's a curb box located in the area, is that supposed to be marked as well?
If it is within the dig area, yes.
Okay. And do the people that mark these lines, do they often use stakes or flags as well to let people know where to dig and not dig? Is that fair or not fair?
Either or, flags, paint, either or. I've seen it either way.
Okay.
I've seen where some companies even would request that flags be placed and paint be placed. But it's
I see.
either or.
Okay, that's all the questions I have of Mr. Tout, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Vice Chair, do you have any questions?
No question.
I have a question to follow up on Mr. Nagelheisen. There was a curb box in the area, is that correct?
Yes.
And I think for maybe, I'm curious as well. And this is, let me just explain how I understand it. Usually when the request is being made, the area in which the excavator intends to excavate is marked by the excavator, is that right?
No, it's marked by the utility company.
No, let me take a step back. So the area in which they intend to excavate, can the excavator mark that by white flags or white paint to indicate where the operator should indicate where their facilities are?
Yes, they can. And
Okay.
also the operator can request it if they're not clear on the instructions. They can turn around and request the excavator mark it in white paint.
Okay, do you know if in this if for this incident, whether or not the excavator identified the area in which they sought to excavate by white markings?
The photographs that I have show no white markings.
Okay,
Now, there might be white markings in here, but typically that's to circle the yellow mark. They will go back when they're investigating if they feel that the yellow mark isn't going to show up well in the photograph. But white markings that I would have interpreted as being markings by the excavator, I did not see in the photographs. Now, whether there were at any time, I can't say other than what I've got in front of me.
okay. And you reviewed the Underground Damage Prevention Act, of course, plenty of times.
Yes,
Is it your understanding that everybody has a color, basically there's a color for sewer, there's a color for electric, there's a color for gas, and white is the color of the Underground Damage Prevention Act to show the area in which the excavator intends to excavate. Is that your understanding?
that's correct.
Okay. All right, do you have any additional redirect, Mr. Park?
Yes, I do.
Please proceed.
And Mr. Tauta, just a little bit on the process to investigate an incident of excavation damage. I take it initially the operator provides notice to the commission of the occurrence of the incident
That's correct.
and provides information pertaining to the incident.
Correct.
And you collect the dig ticket, you look at the dig ticket, you look at the information provided by the pipeline operator. And after you've, for example, in this case, you received a report prepared on behalf of Duke that contained the pre-dig and the pre-dig pictures and the pictures of the damage, is that correct?
That's correct.
And as part of your investigation, do you also reach out to the excavator and request all information that the excavator has about the incident?
Yes.
And in this case, did you ask Mr. Cowgill if he had any photographs or other evidence pertaining to the excavation damage incident?
Yes.
And was Mr. Cowgill able to provide you any photographs?
No.
Was he able to provide any evidence that contradicted the photographs provided by Duke?
No.
No further questions.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Stout. Does the Division of Investigations have any additional witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
All right, is that the case for the Division of Inspections?
Division of Inspections, yes.
Investigations, sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Nagelheisen, do you have any witnesses you would like to call?
Yes, sir, I'd like to call Mr. Coghill.
Okay. Mr. Coggle,
Yes, sir.
can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is true and correct under penalty of perjury?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Bobby Coghill. My address is 2730 Cruise Creek Road, Morning View, Kentucky, 41063.
Thank you, Mr. Coghill. Mr. Nagelheisen, you may ask.
Yes, sir. Now, Bobby, what is your company called, or what was it called at the time of this event?
It's Becknell-Coghill Inc.
All right, and what business was Becknell Coghill Inc. involved in at the time of this incident?
Well, we always set our signs up, you know, we had to have flaggers. We walked up and down the road looking for a curb box or a flag or marks, and we didn't see none. And this was 5 days after they marked the utilities. Of course, it had rained. We had some high winds and it rained. And just like whenever I hit the gas, I didn't even know the gas was there. If I knew the gas service was there, I wouldn't have been digging in that area. I'd have been digging at least 2 foot from the flags or the markings. When I hit the gas, I called Al and I said, Al, I hit gas over here. And when he got over there, I said, Al, why didn't you uncover the curb box and paint the curb box? And why wasn't there no good markings here? He said, I didn't think you'd be digging back this far. When I call in the utilities, I tell them I want it marked from property line to top property line and on both sides of the street. I always tell them that.
Now, tell the judge who Al is, so he knows who Al is.
Al's a fellow that marked utilities. I've known him for about 25 or 26 years. I've known him well. He knows how to mark utilities. And some of these younger guys, they don't know how to mark utilities. But Al does, but why he didn't mark that curb box, it wasn't uncovered and marked, and you can look right on all the prints that I've seen. You can't hardly even see the gas marks the day he marked it, and why was not the curb box uncovered and painted? They always do that, but this job here wasn't.
So you called the Duke and said, come out and mark these utility lines like you're supposed to, correct?
I called 811.
All right.
They got 2 days, and sometimes it takes them longer than that to come out and mark.
And they came out on October 23rd of 2019, correct?
Yes,
All right, and then it rained and there were high winds on October 26th of 2019, correct?
yes, sir.
And then you dug and hit the gas line on October 28th of 19, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, tell me, since I don't know about this paint on the curb box, what's the curb box there for and why should it have been painted?
A curb box is a cap of probably 3 inches in diameter, and that they take the cap off, and it should have a wire in it, and it should have a shut off for the gas service.
And Al is a representative from
811.
811. And did he put any stakes or flags up in any fashion?
No. No, sir.
Did he uncover the curb box?
No, sir.
So there was no paint on the curb box, obviously, if he didn't uncover it, correct?
Right. Yes, sir.
All right, is there anything else you would like to tell the judge? You've been doing this for how many years?
I've been doing it for about 29 years.
Okay, that's all I have this witness, Judge. Hold on, you'd like to say something else?
Yes, sir, I would like to say something else. You know, we walked up and down the road looking for marks or a curb box. Well, the area that, like I said, we didn't see no marks. The rain must have washed them out, but at least Al should have uncovered the curb box. If I knew there was a service line there, I would not have dug there. This service line went between 2 houses, across the street to another house, probably 150 to 200 feet away is where this service line went to. But like I said, if I would have seen a curb box there that was uncovered and painted, I wouldn't have been digging in that area.
What did Al say when you asked him why he didn't do all this? Did he say anything?
Yeah, he said, I didn't think he'd be digging back this far, down the street this far. The reason I would, because this is a flag lot. The traffic was going across the sidewalk, and if I would have set my meter up there any closer than where I did, it would have been run over and damaged. The trucks going in there would have been run over and damaged.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to have an objection to the extent he's offering hearsay testimony regarding what the individual who was marking the area.
Mr. Nageleisen?
Judge, my response to that is, I didn't object to hearsay the entire time about the whole investigation report. That would have been hearsay. The photographs would have been hearsay. Everything would have been hearsay. So I was of the belief that this was more of an administrative hearing and that would be permitted.
You know, I think you're right, Mr. Nageleisen. I just would, if you could, Mr. Coggle, focus on what you saw and your experience, if you could.
Yes, sir. Judge, I believe that's all we have of Mr. Coghill.
All right, thank you. Mr. Park, do you have any questions for Mr. Coghill?
Just one follow-up question. I understand you did request a marking, a locate called 811. You went out there, you indicated you couldn't see it. Did you at any time request or to try to confirm and request a remarking if you were concerned that it wasn't showing up anymore?
He's asking you.
Well, I mean, I went out there and I didn't see no marks. I'm not, I mean, I wasn't worried about anything at the point because I knew that if I didn't see a curb box there, if I didn't see a flag, I was in the clear. Because the gas main was in the road, gas main's in the road, we dig down to find the water main, and we take a spade and dig back there to find the gas main because we gotta do a push across the road. We don't wanna hit the gas main with a rod.
I have nothing further.
Vice Chair?
Just one small series of questions. Good morning, sir. Do you have, or can your attorney put in front of you the inspection report from PRG and the pictures? I'm just curious if any of these pictures show where this curb box would have been.
I have the photographs in front of him. There's quite a few of them that are split out on the page. Hold on. She's going to ask you questions. Just answer her.
If he wants to scroll through, and if there's any of the pictures showing that, and if he could explain like what it is, I'd be curious just so I can understand what we're talking about. And if none of the pictures show it, then none of them show it. But if there is one and then he could talk me through it, that's all I'm looking to do.
You understand, Bobby?
I understand, ma'am, but there was not no curb box uncovered and painted. I don't know why, but there was.
Do you know, does it show on any of the pictures in this report?
No, ma'am, it doesn't. I don't see the curb box.
Okay, that's all I was asking, if that was documented here.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, thank you.
That's it?
So, Mr. Coghill, the 811 ticket that you cite, and I'm reading from it here, I think it says, and this is in the opening order, about the 19th page of the opening, attachment of the opening order. It says the location for the ticket, quote, locate entire front of the property and both sides of the road. That's consistent with your testimony earlier, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so taking a step back, and I think maybe to the vice chair's question, do you know that there's a curb box within the area of the entire front of the property or on either side of the road?
I didn't see no curb box. If I seen a curb box, I would have knew that there was a gas service there, sir.
Well, I know, but taking a step back, are you today aware of whether there is a curb box, quote, in the entire front of the property or on either side of the road?
Well, there's always a curb box there to shut the gas service off with. There's always a curb box, but there wasn't one marked there. And I mean, I don't know, but I know there's got to be a curb box. I mean, I've been doing this for 29 years. I ain't never seen a gas service that does not have a curb box.
Well, and I appreciate that, sort of that's the truism that there has to be a curb box somewhere. My question is, do you have any evidence to indicate that there's a curb box within the area in which you sought to have marked?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. I appreciate it, Mr. Coghill. Thank you.
I do have one follow-up.
Let me, Mr. Nagelheisen, do you have any redirect for Mr.
No, sir.
Coghill?
No, sir.
Okay, and you had something, Mr. Park, what's that?
I just had one follow-up. Mr. Coggle, if you could look at the photographs again that came with the report. And specifically, there's a number of photographs where the name is 42915 Investigator 10 JPG, for example. And then there's another set of photographs that follow that are 42915 Locate Pre-Dig. There's two sets, there's before and after, if you will.
That's pre-dig. This is,
Yes, sir, I see him.
And if you would look at the photograph marked Locate Pre-Dig 2 JPG,
Okay,
and you can see that yellow marking. Is that the approximate area of the excavation damage? You can see the fence behind it.
yes, sir.
And is that the approximate area of the excavation damage?
Yes, sir, it is.
No further questions.
Any additional redirect, Mr. Nagelheisen?
no, sir.
Okay. All right, thank you very much, Mr. Coghill. You may be excused.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Nagelheisen, do you have any additional witnesses, additional evidence you would like to put on?
No, sir. We would submit as well.
Okay. Mr. Park, I'd give you an opportunity if you'd like to make any closing statements on the case.
I do not.
Mr. Nagelheisen, do you have any additional comments you'd like to make on the case? Any closing arguments or
No,
submissions?
You heard it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. All right,
Thank you,
Mr. Park, Mr. Nagelheisen, would you like to file anything post-hearing in the form of a legal brief?
I do not.
No, sir, Your Honor.
Okay, so Mr. Nagelheisen, I just want to make sure that's clear for the record. You're content submitting the case on the record?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Park, the same for you?
Yes, Chairman.
Okay. Is there anything else, Vice Chair?
Nothing else for me?
Okay. Thank you very much for being with us this morning, Mr. Nagelheisen, Mr. Coghill. I appreciate your promptness, and the Vice Chair and I were both running a little late this morning, so thank you all for sticking around.
Yeah, and I do
Yeah.
apologize for making you late. I got caught behind a wreck on I-64. So I hate to make people wait on me, so I apologize.
No worries here.
That's
Thank
fine.
you.
All right, thank you all. You may be excused. We'll take just a couple-minute break. Let's take a 4-minute break until 9:45. Everyone else could please stay on. We'd like to take a break so that we can reset the video and start the rest of the cases with a new set of film. So, all right, we'll take a recess.
You're on.
Okay, we're back on the record. This is the Kentucky Public Service Commission. Again, my name is Kent Chandler. I'm the chairman of the commission. Joining me today is Vice Chair Amy Cubbage. We'll be presiding over this hearing. We haven't called the cases earlier. We listed the cases earlier. I'd like to, before we continue, to go ahead and call the cases to see who we have in attendance. There is case number 2021-00162 regarding International Inc. And it's incident number 31758. Is anyone here on behalf of International Inc.? All right, hearing no one. There's 2021-00202, Ferco Enterprises, or Jeffrey Ferguson, incident number 32414. Is anyone here on behalf of Ferco Enterprises, Inc.? Okay. 2021-00253, Antonio Lozano. Do we have Antonio Lozano?
Yes.
Okay, great. Mr. Lozano, if you'll just hold tight, we'll come back to you first.
Okay.
Next, we have case number 2021-00256, Moody Excavating LLC. Do we have anyone on behalf of Moody Excavating LLC? It's incident number 32150 and case number 2021-00256. We have case number 2021-00258, ProWire Tech Inc., or Raul Rodriguez, incident number 32349. Once again, it's case number 2021-00258. Do we have anyone here on behalf of ProWire Tech Inc.? We have case number 2021-00260, Jordan Hall. It's incident number 32635. Again, 2021-00260 is Mr. Jordan, or is Jordan Hall here?
Mr. Chairman, if now is appropriate time, Division of Inspections would like to move for case number 2021-00260, Jordan Hall, to be held in abeyance.
Okay. That's fine. We'll enter an order to that effect. How long would you like to hold it, indefinitely hold it in abeyance?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Sustain that motion. The next case is 2021-00080, Showtime Construction LLC, or Nate Arnold. It's incident number 31938. Again, case number 2021-00080. Is anyone here on behalf of Showtime Construction LLC?
Yeah, this is Nate.
Okay. Mr. Arnold, we'll come back to you after we finish with Mr. Lozano. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Next, we have case number 2021-00083, Spriggs Construction LLC, or Jim Spriggs. It's incident number 31674. Again, 2021-00083. Is anyone here on behalf of Spriggs Construction LLC? Okay.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Is someone here on behalf of Spriggs Construction LLC?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I will come back to that third. Thank you. The next is, well, the additional incident, 2021-00084, Spriggs Construction LLC. I assume you're here for both of those, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Next is 2021-00268, Nichols Contracting LLC, or Brandon Nichols, incident number 32452. Is anyone here on behalf of Nichols Contracting LLC? Hearing no one. The next two are case numbers 2021-00269 and 2021-00270. Those are incident numbers 32502 and 32503, Boss Construction LLC. Brian Orms. Is anyone here on behalf of Boss Construction LLC? Don't hear anyone. All right, at this time, we will call case number 2021-00253. Mr. Antonio Lozano. Mr. Lozano, are you still with us? You may be on mute still, Mr. Lozano.
Hello?
Yep.
Hey, you hear me now?
We can hear you now. We can hear you now, Mr. Lozano. Do you have an opportunity to turn your camera on? Are you in a position where you can?
Yes.
Do you mind to do that, please?
I think I got now. Es que la cámara no.
Ya no tiene señal.
So take your time.
Okay.
So, Mr. Lozano, are you unable to turn on your camera?
Yeah, I'll try. I don't know. ¿Cómo la cámara, nena?
¿Cómo?
La cámara.
¿Quieres encender?
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Yep, it's
Yeah, okay.
working now.
Got it now.
Thank you, Mr. Lozano. In the case number 2021-00253, it's been alleged by the Commission's Office of Investigations that you violated the Underground Damage Prevention Act, KRS 367-4911, sub 1, sub A. Quote, each excavator or person responsible for an excavation, planing excavation, or demolition work shall, not less than 2 full working days, nor more than 10 full working days prior to commencing work, notify each affected operator of the excavator's intended work and work schedule. Contacting the applicable protection notification centers shall satisfy this requirement. Our records, Mr. Lozano, indicate that you paid the reduced penalty in order to, you stated that you would attend the training, and as a condition of not being assigned the entire penalty, you would attend that training, and then you've paid the reduced penalty, but have not taken the training class by the time designated. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there any particular reason you've not attended the training class?
I don't receive the paper where I can go to the training class.
You did not receive, you're saying you did not receive the notification as to how to participate in the training?
Yes, I don't receive it.
Okay. Mr. Park, does the Office of Investigations have any proposal in this matter or position as it relates, the Division of Investigations, as it relates to Mr. Lozano?
If it's the case that he did not receive the notice of how to participate or when it was, and he's still interested in attending the training, Division of Inspections would not object to continuing this hearing.
Okay. And do you know, Mr. Park, when the next training is being held? Okay.
Tuesday, September 7,
At what time?
9 o'clock.
And is that in person or remotely?
You're still doing it remotely?
Okay. So Mr. Lozano, at 9 a.m.?
Yes, sir.
At 9 a.m. on Tuesday, September the 7th, so about 2.5 weeks from now, or about 2 weeks from now, is the next training for this purposes, and it can be attended remotely over, is it over GoToMeeting?
Yes, I believe so.
Over this same meeting software. And the next hearing that we have, the hearing date we have set for 811 matters is later in September, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so, Mr. Lozano, I'm inclined that if you will, attend this next training on Tuesday, September the 7th, 9 a.m., I will continue the hearing until the next hearing in later September. And if you've attended that training in the meantime, I think the commission will have determined that this matter be satisfied, and we can close this case. Are you able to attend the training on Tuesday, September the 7th at 9 a.m.?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So we will, go ahead, Mr. Lozano.
Can I ask how much is my penalty now?
So, Mr. Lozano's already paid the reduced penalty, correct?
That's correct.
All right. If you attend the training on Tuesday, September the 7th, there will be no additional penalty. You've already paid the portion of the penalty that's required, and attendance at the training will close the case with no additional penalty.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, also, the training is at 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
Okay.
In case the witness is on Central Time, as I understand.
Okay, 9 a.m. Eastern. Failure to, is this Mr. Lozano's first?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that the reduced penalty was $250 and Mr. Lozano was paid.
That's correct.
And for the first violation, the statute says that failure to take the training class, I think we've held people liable for the entirety of the penalty, is that correct?
That is correct. The reduction of the penalty is contingent upon attending the training.
And so it's basically the training or $1,000, is that right?
That is correct.
Okay, so, Mr. Lozano, as long as you're able to attend the training, that keeps the additional $1,000 from being charged, but failure to attend the training runs the risk of being assigned the entire penalty of the additional $1,000 that's waived.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Do you have any additional questions, Mr. Lozano?
No.
Do you have,
Thank you.
do you have the opening order in this case?
Really, I don't know what it is.
It's about, it should be about a 20-page order with the case number at the top, 2021-00253. Should have been what you were provided by mail,
Yeah, it's 12 pages in this case.
12 pages.
No, just, I got, I don't have it.
Do you have any documentation that's been provided to you under this case that has contact information for the commission?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you have an email, Mr.
Yes.
Lozano? Could you write this down for me, please? If you will send an email anytime today to the following email address, PSCED, take your time.
Give me a minute.
That's fine, take your time.
Yeah. Hold up, is that? Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, it's PSCED at ky.gov. If you-
K, Y,
Yeah, ky.gov.
okay,
So PSCED at ky.gov.
.gov.
If you will send an email to that today, we will have someone from the Division of Inspections provide you the information to participate in that September the 7th training.
Okay, what about I pay my penalty? If I pay for my full penalty now?
So, are you asking, can you pay the full penalty now?
Yes,
So you have paid the $250 already, correct?
yes, sir.
Okay, so the choice you have now is you can either pay the $1,000 and not attend the training, or attend the training and there will be no additional penalty.
Okay,
So as long as you attend the training on September the 7th, the next hearing we have, we will likely dismiss your case with no additional penalties.
okay, sir.
Okay. All right, and any additional information you seek, Mr. Lozano, can be received by requesting information from that email address that I sent you earlier.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Do you have any other questions, Mr. Lozano?
No, sir, thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Well,
Okay, we will call our next case, going through here, for the person that was in attendance, was case number 2021-00080, Showtime Construction LLC. I think Mr. Arnold, you're appearing on behalf of Showtime Construction LLC, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And, Mr. Arnold, are you able to turn your camera on?
I believe it was on, but let me see. Ain't working. Can you see me?
I cannot.
Still ain't working. Chicken on the tablet. Yeah, I'm keep hitting the video thing. It still ain't popping up. If I haven't seen it yet.
That's okay, Mr. Arnold. So the violation is against Showtime Construction LLC. Is that an entity in which you are directly involved?
Yes, it's my company.
Okay. And are you the only member of Showtime Construction LLC?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you were provided service in this case, is that correct?
Yes.
And do you wish to contest the penalty that's been assessed?
Yes, I just feel like we was. Long story short is the house that's been there is known for, I guess, settling dirt. The only reason I was over it because the dirt pulled the sewer from the house. So I was over it.
Mr. Arnold, as a technical matter, the reason I asked if you wanted to seek to object to the penalty is that as the penalty is assessed or the violation is assessed against an entity and not a person, in order to participate in the case here at the commission, the law requires that you be represented by an attorney, because no business can be represented by a lay person in a matter like this. And since the violation is against the entity and not you as an individual, you're unable to represent the entity. You're not an attorney, is that correct, Mr. Arnold?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, Mr. Park, given that Mr. Arnold does intend on objecting to the penalty, does the Division of Inspections have a position on this case?
We would not object to Mr. Arnold presenting his side of the story.
Well, don't know that he can.
True.
So, Mr. Arnold, let me ask, our next 811 hearing is when?
October.
September,
It should be
is it
October.
October? It's in
Okay.
October.
So, here's where things stand, Mr. Arnold. If you would like to object to the penalty, and be heard and have a case on the matter, you would need to be represented by an attorney. I'm willing to enter a continuance until the next hearing that we have. You'll be duly notified, and you'll have the time between now and then to determine whether or not you would like to seek representation in order to participate in the proceeding, or whether you would like to pay the penalty. Does Mr. Arnold and does, let me say this, does Showtime Construction LLC have an opportunity to have the penalty reduced by participating in the training?
That option was presented, and I think Division of Inspections would be open to resolving it that way.
Okay. Did you hear that, Mr. Arnold?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have any additional questions?
No, I was just, trying to see if, what the price was for me to pay it, because if I go get an attorney, I'm gonna be in the same boat of spending that money anyways.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So as I understand it, I think the Division of Inspections will correct me if I'm wrong, but there are, as I understand it, three options. The first is to, now that the Division of Inspections has offered it again, to have a reduced penalty from the $1,250. Is that right, Mr. Park?
That is correct.
$1,250, to have that reduced to $250 contingent on you participating in a 811 training. How long does the training last, Mr. Park?
Hour and 15.
A little over an hour-long training effectively would reduce the penalty by $1,000, since this is Showtime LLC's first violation of the Underground Damage Prevention Act. That's option one. The second option would be to pay the entirety of the fine, which is $1,250. And the third option would be to contest the violation, the notice of violation at our next hearing in October.
Okay, so if I pay the $250, are they gonna send me a bill where I can pay that and then send me a date to do the view? To do the training?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's
Yeah, I
correct.
just go, I feel like if I do, like I said, if I do the attorney and all that, just giving out more money, and I run out of time if I'm working by myself and trying to get paid. So I apologize for all this and just trying to get it straightened out.
No, I appreciate it. So Mr. Park, can you indicate to Mr. Arnold what the next steps will be with regards to the division's position that they will offer the training as a condition of a waiver of that $1,000 portion of the penalty?
We can be in touch with Mr. Arnold, I believe, and contact him with our contact information and provide how to pay the reduced fine and provide when the next training is.
Okay.
and how to participate.
To move that process forward, Mr. Arnold, if you could, the email address that I provided Mr. Lozano earlier, if you would, please, in order to have a second, in addition to your ordinary physical address, to have a second location where we can provide the information for you to attend the training, please send an email today or tomorrow to the following email address so that we have an email address for you. Just tell me when you're ready.
Yeah, I have all the 12 papers that y'all was asking him about.
Okay. So there's an email address on the first page, I believe. It's psced@ky.gov.
Yeah, it's on page 2
Page
of
2.
the order.
Okay.
Okay.
There's an email address in there. If you will send an email address indicating your name and the reason you're sending an email, we will have your email address on record in order to send a separate copy of the information you'll need to attend that hearing.
Okay.
All right, so we will, if there's no objection, we'll just enter an order continuing this case until the next hearing, which is scheduled in October, to determine if, I think he's already off, but determine if Mr. Arnold has satisfied the training and has paid the fee.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Arnold has left us. And there was someone on behalf, as I understand it, on behalf of Boss Construction LLC, for case numbers 2021-269 and 2021-270. Those are incident numbers 32502 and 32503. Is that correct?
I think it was Spriggs Construction.
Did I say, you're right, it was Spriggs Construction, my apologies, there was no one here on behalf of Boss. So there was someone on behalf of Spriggs Construction, case numbers 2021-00083 and 2021-00084. Thank you for that.
Okay,
Oh, and before
Sorry,
we, yeah,
disconnected.
before we take Spriggs Construction, thank you, Mr. Arnold, I didn't know if you just hung up or if you were disconnected, so. So we will send that information to you by the email that you provide and by physical address. And what we'll do is we'll continue this case until our next hearing in October, at which time the Division of Inspections can indicate to us whether or not you've satisfied the $250 payment and had attended the training in September.
Okay, and do I have to get back on to do this again today, or?
As long as you've paid the amount and attended the training, and you didn't, pay the amount the day before where we wouldn't have record yet, as long as you promptly pay the payment and attend the training in September, I think that there will likely already be a notice of satisfaction in the record that you'll be sent to indicate that you won't have to attend that October hearing.
Okay.
All right, do you have any additional questions, Mr. Arnold?
No, no, sir, I looked on that one out of 2 pages. Should I just call, it says Mike as a phone number. Should I call that number to figure out? It says PDF, you said PDC or something like that, didn't you? Let me see.
Yeah, so the email address is PSCED, and it stands for Public Service Commission Executive Director, if that helps, PSCED, at ky.gov.
Okay. All right, I'm ready to send that right now.
All right, thank you, Mr. Arnold.
All right, thanks.
All right, we'll go back to Spriggs Construction LLC, case numbers 2021-00083 and 2021-00084. Is anyone here on behalf of Spriggs Construction LLC? Oh, you may be on mute.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, great. Do you please identify yourself for the record?
Wendy Gentry.
Wendy Gentry. All right, Ms. Gentry, what is your relationship to Spriggs Construction LLC?
Office manager.
Okay. And Ms. Gentry, did you hear the conversation I had a minute ago with Mr. Arnold regarding the appearance on behalf of a business entity?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So you have 2 violations here. Ms. Gentry, are you an attorney licensed to practice in the state of Kentucky?
No.
Okay. Do you have, well, let me ask, do you have an intention on the Spriggs Construction, your understanding, I know you can't speak on their behalf, but is it your understanding that Spriggs Construction seeks to for lack of a better term, Ms. Gentry, fight the 2 penalties, the 2 violations that are alleged against it?
I would assume we're in the same position as Mr. Arnold. It's going to cost us more to obtain legal counsel in another state. I guess I'm in the same position as him, just wondering what our options are.
Okay. Mr. Park, are you aware of whether Spriggs Construction LLC has ever had a violation before?
I do, they have not, this is, we got 2 incidents before the commission today, and there's an additional incident that has not been processed yet. But this one, the incident 31674 was the first one.
31674 was the first one. Okay.
I believe so.
And 316, okay, I see that incident 31674 was on May the 21st, and 31694 was on May the 30th, both of the year 2019. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So does given that the one on May the 21st seems to be the first one, does the Division of Inspections have a position as it relates to Spriggs Construction LLC and Ms. Gentry's appearance and discussion today?
Chairman, this involves an excavator with 3 separate incidents, so Division of Inspections and the opportunity to resolve this through paying a reduced fine and attending training was offered. So Division of Inspections would not be inclined to extend the same treatment because this is a third alleged violation. 1 of 3.
So I'd ask Mr. Park, I appreciate the concern. The first incident was on the 21st of May. The second one was on the 30th of May of 2019. So it would appear here that they were not probably provided that opportunity to attend the training before their subsequent violations, which might indicate that a lack of knowledge of what 367 required. Is that correct?
I cannot speak to the lack of knowledge of where they got
But
that.
they were not given an opportunity to, after their first violation due to the
That's correct.
they were not given an opportunity to receive additional education through the training the commission provides?
That's correct. The staff investigation report would not have been done by them.
Okay. Ms. Gentry, here's what I think the best way to move forward would be. I think this, you've heard most of everything else I've spoken about, and you've heard the position of the Division of Inspections. I think that there's an opportunity here prior to the October hearing for Spriggs Construction to determine what their path forward would be. I think that you can satisfy both of these amounts, for instance, by paying the penalty for each amount, or continue to contest the proceeding at the October hearing if we enter an order for continuance. Do you understand those options?
I do.
Okay. Do you have any additional questions today?
No.
Okay. So what we'll do is we'll enter an order soon, ensure that it's served on Spriggs Construction LLC. We'll enter an order continuing both case numbers 2021-00084 and 2021-00083 until the October hearings.
Okay.
We'll try to have that served on Spriggs Construction in a timely manner, Ms. Gentry.
Okay.
Do you have any additional questions, Ms. Gentry?
So, do we need to pay these 2 penalties before the October hearing?
If the 2 penalties are paid prior to the October hearing and in enough time, this is the conversation I had with Mr. Arnold earlier, if both of these are paid in enough time ahead of the October hearing, this likely won't be called at the October hearing, and you'll receive a notice of satisfaction. You'll receive service of a notice of satisfaction in the mail that these 2 incidents have been resolved.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for your time this morning, Ms. Gentry.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, before she gets off, could we get another contact information? We had trouble sometimes
That'd be
getting.
great. So, Ms. Gentry, can you do what I've asked the first 2 folks today to do, is send some contact information to that email address to make it a little easier to provide information to Spriggs Construction LLC. That email address where you can send additional contact information is psced@ky.gov. Again, that's psced@ky.gov.
Yes, I will.
Thank you very much. All right. Is that it for these 2 cases, Mr. Park?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Gentry.
Thank you.
All right, we'll start back at the top. We've taken care of, as I understand it, Mr. Park, let's just make sure we're clear here. We've taken care today of case number 2021-00159, Becknell Coghill, is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
And they were represented by Mr. Nageleisen.
Correct.
We've spoken to Mr. Lozano in case number 2021-253, is that correct?
Correct.
And we've ruled for the bench, but we'll enter an order later satisfying, at least for today, 2021-00260 to hold the incident with Mr. Jordan Hall in abeyance. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And then we've discussed that we will enter an order continuing case numbers 2021-00080 and 2021-00083. We'll continue those till October. Those both relate to Showtime Construction LLC, correct?
That is correct.
No, actually,
Oh,
Showtime
excuse
was
me.
just one.
Showtime was just one. We'll continue that to October. Sprig, thank you. So that was 2021-00080 Showtime Construction. We've also satisfied today, or gotten through today, Spriggs Construction LLC, case numbers 2021-00083 and 00084. Spriggs Construction LLC, continue those to October, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. At this time, we'll go back to the beginning. At this time, I will call 2021-000162 International Inc. again. Appears that no one's here on behalf of International Inc. Mr. Park, is this your case?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Okay, are you ready to proceed?
I am.
All right, please call your first witness.
Kentucky Public Service Commission Division of Inspections calls Eric Tout.
Mr. Tout, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is true and correct under penalty of perjury?
Yes.
Okay, please state your name and address for the record.
EricTout, 570 Long Lane, Mount Sterling, Kentucky.
Okay. Mr. Park, you may ask.
Mr. Tout, what is your current occupation?
I'm an investigator with the Public Service Commission, investigating underground gas damages that are reported to the public service by the utility company's operators.
And in the course of your duties, did you investigate an incident of excavation damage that occurred on July 2, 2019, damage to an underground pipeline located at 4529 Windstar Way in Lexington?
Yes,
Was this incident assigned an incident number for purposes of your investigation?
Yes,
And what was that?
31758.
Ms. Rhodes, could you please display on the screen the investigation report for incident 31758, please? And if you could expand and scroll through that. And Mr. Tout, when you've had a chance to look at this, can you identify what this document is?
Yes, it's my investigation report.
And does this appear to be a true and accurate copy of your report?
Yes,
This report has been previously filed into the record in this matter, and I move to introduce this report as Division of Inspections Exhibit 1.
All right, please number this PSC Division of Inspections number 1.
And Mr. Tout, could you please describe your investigation of this incident?
yes, the gas company reported that the excavator damaged a correctly marked 3/4 inch gas service with a hog hole installing underground conduit.
And in the course of your investigation, did you determine whether, in fact, this location was properly marked?
From the information received from the gas company, yes, this location was marked. It involved 3 lines, 2 that were live and 1 which was abandoned, but the gas company reports that all 3 were marked and marked correctly, and that the excavator located two of the gas lines, thought that the 3rd marking was incorrect and damaged the 3rd gas line.
Was the gas line that was damaged, did it contain gas at the time of the incident?
From my knowledge, yes. Best of my knowledge, yes.
Based upon the results of your investigation, did you find that a violation of the Underground Damage Prevention Act had occurred?
Yes,
And what provision was violated?
that would have been KRS 367 491110, excavating with mechanized equipment within the tolerance zone or approximate location.
I have no further questions for this witness.
Vice Chair, do you have any questions?
No questions.
I have no questions either. Mr. Park, do you have any additional statements on this case?
I do not.
Would you like to submit this case on the record?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And in addition to, you don't intend to file any briefs or following post-hearing documents, correct?
We do not.
Okay, and I have from the record, but I just want to ensure that as it relates to International Inc., the service of this complaint or service of the order initiating this matter was served by certified mail on April 23rd, 2021, correct?
That is correct, and evidence of the service has been filed in the record.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Mr. Tout? Do you have another case? Well, we have additional cases. You don't have any additional witnesses. That was my last question.
That
Assume
is
you
correct,
don't,
no
since
additional
you-
witnesses.
Happy to submit it. All right, the next case we'll take is Ferco Enterprises, Inc., case number 2021-00202. I'll do what I failed to do in the first case. Ferco, Inc. is alleged to have violated the Underground Damage Prevention Act, and specifically KRS 367.4911 sub 2. Quote, locate requests are valid for 21 calendar days from the day of initial request. Are you ready to proceed with this case, Mr. Park?
Yes, Chairman.
Okay. You have the burden of proof. Please call your first witness.
Kentucky Public Service Commission Division of Inspections calls Eric Tout.
Okay. Mr. Tout, please raise your right hand for this matter. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is true and correct under penalty of perjury?
Yes.
Okay. And have you previously stated your name and address in the record?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Mr. Park, you may ask Mr. Tout.
Mr. Tout, what is your current occupation?
Investigator with the Kentucky Public Service Commission.
And as investigator for the PSC, what are your job duties?
To investigate underground gas damages reported to the Public Service Commission via the gas company's operators.
And as investigator for the Division of Inspections, did you have occasion to investigate an incident of excavation damage to an underground gas pipeline that occurred on January 21, 2020 at 1728 Hilton Avenue in Ashland, Kentucky?
Yes, that incident number would be 32414.
Ms. Rhodes, if you could please display on the screen the investigation report for incident 32414. And if you will scroll through that for the witness. And Mr. Tout, could you please describe, identify this document, please?
That is my investigative report regarding this case.
Does that appear to be a true and accurate copy of your report?
Yes.
This report has been previously filed into the record in this matter, and I move to introduce this as Division of Inspection Exhibit 1.
Let it be marked.
And if you will review your inspection report and describe your investigation of this incident.
Columbia Gas reported to the Public Service Commission that the Excavator Ferco Enterprises damaged a 1-inch gas service line with mechanized equipment conducting demolition and failed to contact the Protection Notification Center, or 811.
And was there a locate ticket issued for this location?
There was, but it was 49 days expired.
And when was the dig ticket issued?
Initial date was 11/12/2019. 21 days from that would be 12/3/19.
And the incident occurred in January 21 of 2020.
Correct.
So was the dig ticket invalid at the time
Yes.
of the excavation damage?
Yes.
Was there natural gas in the pipeline at the time of the incident?
To my knowledge, yes.
Did you find that the excavator had violated the Underground Facilities Damage Prevention Act?
Yes, I did.
And which provision did you conclude that the excavator violated?
KRS 367-4911, 2, locate requests are valid for 21 calendar days from the date of the initial request.
And do you know if this was the excavator's first alleged offense?
To my knowledge, first. It's the first.
Division of Inspections has no further questions for this witness.
Vice Chair, do you have any questions?
No questions?
I may have missed it. Mr. Park most likely asked it, but I just want to make sure I'm clear. Was there gas in the pipe when the damage occurred?
Yes.
And is it your understanding the gas escaped?
Yes.
Okay. I have no additional questions. Do you have any redirect? Mr.
I have no redirect,
Assume you don't want to file a brief in this case?
no brief,
And no final comments?
no final comments.
Okay. All right. We'll go on to the next case. Find it here. Next case I have is case number 2021-00256, Moody Excavating LLC. We did not have anybody show up today on behalf of Moody Excavating LLC. Mr. Park, is the Division of Inspections prepared to proceed?
Yes, it is.
Okay. As I understand it, based on the initial order, Moody Excavating LLC is alleged to have violated the Underground Damage Prevention Act and specifically KRS 367.4911, sub 1, sub A. Each excavator or person responsible for an excavation, planing excavation, or demolition work shall, not less than 2 full working days, nor more than 10 full working days prior to commencing work, notify each affected operator of the excavator's intended work and work schedule. Contacting the applicable protection notification center shall satisfy this requirement. And KRS 367.4911 sub 2, quote, locate requests are valid for 21 calendar days from the date of the initial request. Mr. Park, as the party with the burden of proof, the Division of Inspections, do you all have a witness?
Yes, Chairman, Division of Inspections would like to call Eric Tout.
Okay. Mr. Tout, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is true and correct under penalty of perjury?
Yes.
Okay. And is your name and record already, or your name and address already in the record in this matter?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Park, you may ask.
Mr. Tout, what is your current occupation?
I'm an investigator with the Kentucky Public Service Commission. I investigate underground damages that are sent to the Kentucky Public Service Commission via the gas company operators.
And in your position as investigator for the Public Service Commission, did you investigate an incident of excavation damage that occurred on September 23, 2019 at 625 Beaumont Avenue in Lexington, Kentucky?
Yes.
Was this incident assigned an incident number for the purpose of your investigation?
Yes, incident 32150.
Ms. Rhodes, if you could please display on the screen the investigation report for incident 32150. And if you could scroll through the report for the witness. Mr. Tout, can you identify this document for the record?
Yes, that's my investigative report.
Does that appear to be a true and accurate copy of your investigation report?
Yes.
This report has previously been filed in the record, and I move that it be admitted as Division of Inspection Exhibit 1.
Let it be marked.
Mr. Tout, please describe the incident which was the subject of your investigation.
Columbia Gas reported to the Public Service Commission that Moody Excavation damaged a 1-inch gas service with mechanized equipment and failed to contact Protection Notification Center 811.
And was a locate ticket issued for
this particular location?
Yes, but it was not for Moody Excavation. It was for a company called EHI.
When was that dig ticket issued to this other company?
August 26, 2019,
And when would that ticket have expired?
September 16, 2019.
So the ticket issued to EHI, not to Moody, but even that ticket was expired at the time of the incident.
Correct. The incident date was September the 23rd, 2019, and it was expired 7 days.
At the time the pipeline was damaged, did it contain gas?
Yes,
Based upon your investigation of this incident, did you make a finding that the excavator violated the Underground Facilities Damage Prevention Act?
yes.
And which provisions did you find the excavator violated?
KRS 367, 4911, 1A, and subsection 2. Each excavator or person responsible for excavation, planning excavation, or demolition work shall not less than 2 full working days, no more than 10 full working days. Prior to commencing work, notify each affected operator of the excavator's intended work and work schedule. Contacting the applicable protection notification center shall satisfy this requirement. And then subsection 2, locate requests for valid 21 calendar days from the day of the initial request.
And based upon your knowledge, is this the excavator's first alleged violation of the Damage Prevention Act?
Yes.
Division of Inspections has no further questions for this witness.
Vice Chair, do you have any questions?
Yeah, just a couple. This is in this matter, Mr. Moody, there's some factual dispute that whether he was an employee of EHI or whether he was an independent contractor, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, and it looks like at the end of attachment 2 to the inspection report, and it's a little hard for me to read it on the version I've got, those appear to be bills from Mr. Moody to EHI, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And those look to me to be like typical subcontractor bills, not a timesheet for hourly wages.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I've got.
May have missed it again, Mr. Tout. Was there gas in the line at the time of damage?
Best of my knowledge, yes.
Okay. And Moody, well, had any party indicated to you that they had actually themselves damaged the underground line? Through any of your conversations in this case, did any party that you discussed this with indicate to you that they actually did damage the underground facility?
Don't recall anyone actually saying that they did, but I don't recall anyone contesting it either.
All right, do you have any redirect for Mr. Tout?
I do not.
All right, and do you have prepared to, I guess I would ask Mr. Park if the Division of Inspections would file a short brief in this case. And it comes down to the issue of whether or not a subcontractor, as being an excavator, can both fail to not have a ticket and have an expired ticket when the claim is that the expired ticket was requested on behalf of the initial contractor. Does that make sense, Mr. Park?
To resolve any inconsistencies between that, or?
Well, whether or not somebody can be in violation of
Both of those?
both of those at the same time, and, well, so the second one is that they're valid for 21 days, right? But I don't think that the Division of Inspections has alleged that Mr. Moody had requested a dig ticket, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, and so I would assume that's the on behalf of language that's present in 367 that the Division of Inspections is depending on.
I'm not sure if I followed that.
Well, I guess my question is, Mr. Moody never requested a dig ticket, but part of the one of his violations is digging with an expired dig ticket, correct?
That is correct to the extent it's not uncommon for a general contractor to submit the locate request.
Right.
And the subcontractor to work under that ticket. So I think this was just to cover both bases, to the extent there was an argument that he was working under the first dig ticket, it was expired, but he was required to obtain one on himself, so it's basically just covering both of those.
And that's what I'd like,
Okay.
the Division of Inspections, whether or not they're mutually exclusive.
Understand.
All right, thank you. Do you have anything else on this case, Mr. Park?
I have nothing further.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll call the next case. Case number 2021-00258, ProWire Tech, Inc. ProWire Tech, Inc. Is alleged to have violated the Underground Damage Prevention Act, and specifically KRS 367-4991 sub 10. Quote, when excavation or demolition is necessary within the appropriate location of the underground facility, the excavator shall hand dig or use non-intrusive means to avoid damage to the underground facility. As I understand it, Mr. Park Service has been successfully provided on this case. Is that correct?
That is correct, and evidence of service has been filed in the record.
Okay. Is the Division of Inspections ready to proceed on ProWire Tech, Inc., case number 2021-258?
Yes, we are.
Okay. As the party with the burden of proof, will you please call your first witness?
Division of Inspections calls Eric Tout.
Okay. Mr. Tout, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is true and correct under penalty of perjury?
Yes.
Okay. And your address and name is in the record previously, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Mr. Park, you may ask.
Mr. Tout, what is your current occupation?
I'm with the Kentucky Public Service Commission as an investigator of underground gas damage facilities reported to the public service by the operators or utility companies, gas companies.
And as an investigator for the commission, did you have occasion to investigate an incident that occurred on December 12, 2019 at Morning Glory Lane in Lexington, Kentucky?
Yes, and that incident number is 32349.
Ms. Rhodes, if you could please display the investigation report for incident 32349, please. Mr. Tout, if you would review this report, review this document. And if you would identify this document for the record.
That's my investigation report.
Does this appear to be a true and accurate copy of your report?
Yes.
This report has been filed into the record previously, and I move to introduce this report as Division of Inspections Exhibit 1.
So marked.
Mr. Tout, could you please describe, based upon your investigation, could you please describe the incident 32349?
Yes, Columbia Gas reported to the Public Service Commission that ProWire Tech damaged a correctly marked 4-inch gas main with a boring machine.
And Did this damage occur by the use of mechanized equipment within the tolerance zone?
Yes.
Based upon your investigation of this incident, did you find that the excavator violated any provision of the Underground Facilities Damage Prevention Act?
Yes.
Which-
KRS 367-4911-10, when excavating or demolition is necessary within the approximate location of the underground facility, the excavator shall hand dig or use non-intrusive means to avoid damage to the underground facility.
And in this case, there was a valid locate ticket and proper temporary marking of the pipeline.
Yes.
I have no further questions for this witness.
All right, Vice Chair?
No questions.
There's an email in the record, Mr. Tout, from Mr. Raul Rodriguez on behalf of ProWire Tech, states that he's the operations manager, that indicated that if the commission would let him know, this is September of last year, where to send a check, that they would send the check to satisfy this matter for $1,250. Did you respond to Mr. Rodriguez providing him the location in which he could send the check?
I have a note in here on January the 20th, 2001, where I indicated that I sent an email to them regarding non-payment. And once I did that, he would have had my email information on how to get back in contact with me. Now, to answer your specific question, I don't see any notes in there that I did that.
Okay.
I would have to go back and search my email and see to confirm.
Okay. So I'd ask, and I won't do it in a formal post-hearing request, but I'd ask if the email is available, that the case record be supplemented with an email from Mr. Tout, whether or not he responded to Mr. Rodriguez about where that check could be sent to satisfy this case. Do you have any redirect to Mr. Tout?
I do not.
All right. And would you like to brief this case or make any closing statements, Mr. Park?
No, I would not.
Okay. All right, if nothing else, we'll end this hearing, the hearing on this case. The next matter is case number 2021-00268, Nichols Contracting LLC. Nichols Contracting LLC is alleged to have violated the Underground Damage Prevention Act, specifically KRS 367-4911 sub 1 sub A. Each excavator, quote, each excavator or person responsible for an excavation, planning excavation, or demolition work shall, not less than 2 full working days nor more than 10 full working days prior to commencing work, notify each affected operator of the excavator's intended work and work schedule. Contacting the applicable protection notification centers shall satisfy this requirement. It's my understanding, Mr. Park, that Nichols Contracting LLC was served by certified mail on July the 2nd, 2021. Is that your understanding?
That is my understanding, and evidence of service has been filed into the record.
Okay. Are you ready to proceed on this case?
Yes, I am.
As the party with the evidence, please proceed and call your first witness.
Kentucky Public Service Commission Division of Inspection calls John Goins.
Okay. All right, Mr. Goins, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is true and correct under penalty of perjury?
I do.
All right, please state your name and address for the record.
My name is John
Actually-
Goins.
Do you mind, Mr. Goins? I think we had discussed earlier that we would split the hearing into two once Mr. Goins proceeds. So at the time, I'd like to end this hearing and take about a 5-minute break and let Candace reset the hearing, and we'll call this case again, if that's okay. All right, we're going to take a 5-minute, we're going to adjourn this hearing. All right, Candace, will you All right. So we're on the record. This is the Kentucky Public Service Commission. My name is Kent Chandler, Chairman of the Public Service Commission. Joining me today for these hearings is Commission Vice Chair Amy Cubbage. Start all over again since this is a new session. Today's hearings are for the purpose of hearing evidence in cases where the investigation division of the Kentucky Public Service Commission has issued civil penalty assessments against individuals and business entities alleging violations of the Kentucky Underground Facility Damage Prevention Act. This is the third set of hearings today on the commission acting under its authorization under KRS 367-4917 sub 6 to enforce and assess civil penalties provided for in the Underground Damage Prevention Act and to seek injunctive relief for any violation that results in damage to an underground facility, use to transport gas or hazardous liquid subject to federal pipeline safety laws, 49 U.S.C. section 60101 et sequitur. At this time, we'll call our next case. The next case is case number 2021-00268, Nichols Contracting LLC, incident number 32452. Nichols Contracting LLC is alleged to have violated the Underground Damage Prevention Act, specifically KRS 367.4911 sub 1 sub A. Each excavator or person responsible for an excavation, planning excavation, or demolition work shall not less than 2 full working days nor more than 10 full working days prior to commencing work, notify each affected operator of the excavator's intended work and work schedule. Contacting the applicable protection notification center shall satisfy this requirement. Mr. Parker, you are appearing on behalf of the Division of Inspections.
Yes, Chairman,
And are you ready to proceed on this matter, Nichols Contracting LLC?
I am.
Okay. As the party with the burden of proof, will you please call your first witness?
Kentucky Public Service Commission Division of Inspections calls John Goins.
Okay. Mr. Goins, will you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is true and accurate under penalty of perjury?
I do.
Okay. Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is John Goins, and I live at 189 Berry Avenue in Versailles, Kentucky.
Okay. Mr. Park, you may ask.
Mr. Goins, what is your current occupation?
I am an investigator in the Division of Inspections in the Public Service Commission.
In your capacity as commission investigator, did you have occasion to investigate an incident of excavation damage to an underground gas pipeline that occurred on February 19, 2020 at Williams Road and Kentucky 39 in Nicholasville, Kentucky?
Yes, I did.
Was this incident assigned an incident number for the purpose of your investigation?
Yes, it was assigned 32452.
Ms. Rhodes, if you could please pull up on the screen the investigation report for incident number 32452. Mr. Goins, as Ms. Rhodes scrolls through that, if you could review this document, please. And can you identify this document for the record?
Yes, this is my final investigation report for this incident.
Does this appear to be a true and accurate copy of your investigation report?
Yes, it does.
And please describe the incident that you investigated, the incident number 32452.
I received a report from the gas utility company that Nichols Contracting was digging with an excavator to install an electric line and hit and punctured a 2-inch plastic natural gas main. And he specifically had not called 811 to request a line locate.
So there was no locate request.
There was none that was assigned to Nichols Contracting LLC.
Are you aware of whether there was natural gas in the pipeline at the time it was struck?
Yes, there was.
And was there a release of gas?
Yes.
And you said there was no valid dig ticket issued for Nichols Contracting. Was there another dig ticket issued in connection with
Well, the utility company did not provide any kind of a locate ticket number. I contacted Mr. Nichols by telephone, and he indicated that the developer had requested a dig ticket. But in the course of our conversation, he acknowledged responsibility for hitting the line and agreed to the reduced penalty and remedial measure.
And he did not take advantage of that, I assume?
No.
Based upon your investigation, did you find that the excavator violated the Underground Facilities Damage Prevention Act?
Yes.
Which provision of the Damage Prevention Act did you find the excavator violated?
KRS 367.4911, subsection 1A, which is the statutory requirement to request a dig ticket.
I have no further questions for this witness.
Vice Chair, do you have any questions?
No questions.
Just have one, Mr. Goins. Was this Nichols Contracting LLC, or whether it was the entity or the person, Mr. Nichols himself, are you aware of any other violation of the Underground Damage Prevention Act?
No, this was his first violation that we had on record.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Park, do you have any redirect, Mr. Goins?
I do not, Your Honor.
Okay. Do you intend on making any additional comments in this case?
I do not.
Filing a post-hearing brief?
I do not.
And does the Division of Inspections submit the case on the record?
Yes, Chairman, we do.
Okay, so we'll end the hearing on case number 2021-00268. We'll call the next case, case number 2021-00269, incident number 32502, Boss Construction LLC. Boss Construction LLC in this matter is alleged to have violated the Underground Damage Prevention Act, and specifically KRS 367-4911 sub 8. The excavator shall contact the Protection Notification Center to request remarking 2 working days in advance of the expiration of each 21-day period while excavation or demolition continues. Mr. Park, are you, is the Division of Inspections ready to proceed on this case, case number 2021-00269?
Yes, Chairman.
Okay. And as the party with the burden of proof, you may call your first witness.
Kentucky Public Service Commission Division of Inspections calls John Goins.
Okay, Mr. Goins, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is true and correct under penalty of perjury?
I do.
Okay. You've previously stated your name and address, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Park, you may ask.
Mr. Goins, what is your current occupation?
I am an investigator in the Division of Inspections in Public Service Commission.
And as an investigator for the Public Service Commission, what are your job duties?
I review gas line incidents reports that are submitted by the utilities to determine whether or not there's been a violation of the statute, and if there has been a violation of the statute, then to determine the responsible party, and then to resolve the violation with that responsible party.
And did you have occasion to investigate 2 incidents of excavation damage to an underground pipeline occurred on March the 3rd, 2020 at 720 Robert Street in Newport, Kentucky?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Now, this case concerns only one of those incidents, the first incident. And this incident was assigned incident number 32502, and we're going to proceed with that incident first. Ms. Rhodes, if you could please bring up the investigation report for incident 32502. And if you'll scroll through that, and Mr. Goins, when you've had an opportunity, could you please identify this document?
This is my final incident report for this incident.
And is this a true and accurate copy of your report?
Yes, it is.
This report has been filed into the record previously, and at this time, I move that it be admitted into evidence as Division of Inspections Exhibit 1.
Have it marked as such.
Mr. Goins, please describe this incident and your investigation of the incident.
The operator reported that the excavator was excavating around the gas line, and through the process of their excavation, they knocked a rock loose and down onto the gas line.
And was this excavation covered by a valid locate ticket?
It was not. The most recent dig ticket that was issued for this location had expired by 57 days.
Was there natural gas in the pipeline at the time of the damage?
Yes, there was.
And was gas released?
Yes, it was.
Based upon your investigation, did you find that this excavator violated the Underground Facilities Damage Prevention Act?
Yes, I did.
And which provision did you find the excavator violated?
KRS 367.4911, subpart 8, which is the language that requires, or that specifies the dig tickets are valid for 21 calendar days from the date requested.
And is it your understanding that this particular incident was the first alleged violation by this excavator?
Yes.
I have no further questions for this witness.
Vice Chair?
No questions.
So I guess I'd ask, Mr. Goins, was the damage that resulted here caused by the use of mechanical equipment of the excavator?
Yes, it was. Mechanical equipment was being used within the within 18 inches of the line.
Okay. And so, walk me through that, about the, I know it's a legal term, but the proximate cause of the damage was the excavator. What's the fact pattern here that caused this rock to fall on the line?
Based on the information that I had provided, they were using their mechanized equipment very close to the gas line, and in the process of the excavation, it loosened a rock that dropped on the gas line and broke it.
Okay. All right, Mr. Park, do you have any additional redirect of the witness?
I do not.
Okay. Do you have any additional statements, or does the Division of Inspections wish to file a brief in this case?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. And is it your position that you'd like to submit this case on the record?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. We will submit this case on the record, case number 2021-00269. The next case is case number 2021- or last case is 2021-00270, Boss Construction LLC, incident number 32503. Boss Construction in this matter is alleged to have violated the Underground Damage Prevention Act, specifically two provisions. The first, KRS 367-4911 sub 7. Quote, if after the 2-day period provided by KRS 367-4909 sub 5 sub A, the excavator finds evidence of an unmarked underground facility at the site, he shall immediately notify the protection notification, end quote, and KRS 367-49.4911 sub 8, quote, the excavator shall contact the Protection Notification Center, to request remarking 2 working days in advance of the expiration of each 21-day period while excavation or demolition continues. No one appeared today on behalf of Boss Construction LLC. Mr. Park, is the Division of Inspections ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. As the party with the burden of proof, you may call your first witness.
Kentucky Public Service Commission Division of Inspections calls John Goins.
Okay. Mr. Goins, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is true and correct under penalty of perjury?
I do.
Okay. And have you previously stated your name and address in the record?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Mr. Park, you may proceed.
Mr. Goins, what is your current occupation?
I am an investigator with the Division of Inspections in the Public Service Commission.
And as an investigator for the Public Service Commission, did you investigate 2 incidents of excavation damage to an underground gas pipeline that occurred on March 4, 2020, located at 720 Robert Street in Newport, Kentucky?
Yes, I did.
Was this incident assigned an incident number for purposes of your investigation?
Yes, it was. That number is 32503.
Ms. Rhodes, if you could please display on the screen the investigation report for incident number 32503 and scroll through that for the witness, please. Mr. Goins, when you've had a chance, could you please identify this document for the record?
Yes, this is my final investigation report for this incident.
And is this a true and accurate copy of the report?
Yes, it is.
This report has previously been entered into the record in this case, and at this time, I move that it be introduced as Division of Inspection Exhibit Number 1.
So we're,
Mr. Goins, based upon your investigation, could you please describe this incident?
This incident occurred at the same location as the previous incident that I have testified for. The excavator was doing excavation work and hit the same gas line that they hit the day before.
Was there a valid locate ticket?
There was not.
For this excavation?
There was not. The last ticket that had been issued for this location had expired 57 days previously.
Based upon your investigation, did you find that the excavator violated the Underground Facilities Damage Prevention Act?
Yes, I did.
And which provisions did you find the excavator violated?
KRS 367.4911, subsection 7, which if an excavator finds evidence of an unmarked underground facility, they have to notify the Protection Notification Center immediately. And so, having hit the gas line the day before, there was obvious evidence of an unmarked underground facility. I also cited them for violating KRS 367.4911.8, which explains that the dig tickets are valid for 21 calendar days from the date requested. And so having a ticket that was expired by 57 days was a violation.
So is it your testimony that the prior excavation damage revealed the existence of this line, exposed it, and the excavator should have immediately notified the operator?
Yes.
To your knowledge, did the pipeline that was damaged contain natural gas at the time of the incident?
Yes, it did.
And was gas released?
Yes.
And is this the second violation of this excavator within the past year?
Yes, it was.
Division of Inspections has no further questions for this witness.
Vice Chair?
Just a few to clarify what's in the record. For the previous matter with the day before with the rock, we have in the record, and that's 2021-00269, there's a report from PRG that shows the damage, but it appears in this matter there's not any similar documentation. Am I understanding it right, that the only documentation we have is simply the call from Duke? Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So you consider these two, obviously two separate incidents, not just because they were on 2 days, it was different breaks in the line?
Yes.
Okay. I think that's all I've got.
Mr. Goins, there, rocks fell on the line 2 subsequent days, is that correct?
No, the first day was the rock that fell on the line. The second day, they were actually doing some grading to install a retaining wall.
Okay, and what came into contact with the line?
I don't know that they specified exactly what equipment was being used, whether it was a skid steer or what, something identified as an excavator.
Right, so the operator, I'm reading your incident report here, your investigation report. The operator reports that Boss Construction LLC was installing a retaining wall. While excavating the hillside, they inadvertently came in contact with Duke Energy's gas service line. After further investigation, I discovered that Boss Construction LLC had not notified the one-call system prior to excavation. This is the second time this gas service was damaged by Boss. And then for the investigation, the majority of the investigation notes are identical to the first document, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and so the phone call that you had on November the 6th with Mr. Worms, do you remember the second contact coming into the conversation, or discussing that second contact, or just the first contact regarding the rock?
Truthfully, I don't remember, but with the incident numbers being sequential, consecutive, I believe that I was looking at both incidents at the same time.
Okay, and then the final entry you have in the investigation for the conversations is regarding received 2 dig tickets from 811, the first 12/9. Is that's identical to the other, that statement is identical to the other investigation, is that correct?
Right.
And so just make sure I'm clear, the first incident occurred on March the 3rd, but this incident actually occurred on March the 4th, is that correct?
That's correct.
So it would have been 58 days after the ticket expired, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Is there, your understanding and your experience, you've been doing this for a little while, is there an obligation that you're aware of under the law in which an excavator shall cease excavation upon finding that they've come in contact with, that they've damaged an underground facility?
Yes.
Okay, but that was not in any of the violations here, correct?
Yeah, it wasn't cited.
It wasn't cited as a violation. But it would appear that after they damaged the facility on the first day, they did continue to excavate, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any redirect, Mr. Park?
I do not.
And would you like to make any additional comments?
I
On
have
this
no
case?
additional comments.
Okay. And any intent on filing a brief,
No.
legal brief in this case? Okay. Is there any reason that Mr. Goins cannot be excused for the remainder of the day?
No.
Okay. All right. And does the Division of Inspections intend on submitting this case on the record?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Mr. Park, thank you very much, Mr. Goins. Mr. Park, is there anything else that we need to take up today at this hearing?
No, Chairman, that's everything we need to address today.
Okay, so I just want to make sure, because we're going to have to go back and create these orders, that we're on the same page. Is it your understanding that we intend on continuing case number 2021-253, Antonio Lozano, case number 2021-80, Showtime Construction, case number 2021-83, and 2021 184 Spurge Construction, continue all of those hearings until the October date.
That is correct, as well as 2021-00260 Jordan Hall. That's the one we moved for a continuance.
Yeah, and we sustained that motion for the bench. So we'll enter an order on the abeyance, the general abeyance at 260, and a continuance to the October hearing on the remainder of those cases. My expectation is, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Park, that the Division of Inspections, in regards to Mr. Lozano and Showtime Construction, will be sending something to those parties regarding their ability to participate in the training. Is that correct?
Division of Inspections will contact and communicate that information with those two excavators.
And evidence of that will be placed into the record?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have anything, Vice Chair?
Nothing else?
Okay. All right, then we will adjourn this hearing and have our next one in October. Thank you.